Good morning. Good morning. This is like my mirror. I don't really go and wake up and go look in the mirror. I'm gonna have to start doing it soon. I got all kinds of changes that are wanting to come alive in me. I'm just not sure. You're supposed to work on the easiest ones first. And so, anyways, the easier ones are gone. So listen, I've got to finish this up because this has to do with the studies we've been doing with John, with the number 5 this time, okay? And so I wanted to relay this to you that, these conversations that we're having is teaching us about the spirit of the text, okay? And this is the part that a lot of people miss out on. And God damn it, if you understood this spirit of the text, you'll only hear it one way. You won't, there won't be, oh, that's what they mean. So it's a way of knowing what is authentic, and at the same time gives you a better understanding of what they're saying. All right, like in here, this next group, this John, it's again, the 5 is about the body and the skin and stuff like that. And what we're getting out of this one here is about help. Well, let me show you what it means by this. The skin is a vessel. It's going to be talked about as being, not just a vessel, but it's also home. So it's a house. And what we do is we go out of this house to go into another house to get fixed. And really, so what they're talking about is going from what would be the conscious side of the world to the unconscious side of the world. And that doesn't necessarily mean going to sleep. This has to do with meditation, where you are shutting down one side and turning on another. That's basically how it is. So you relinquish control of the left and you give control to the right. And what this one here is talking about, it says, see what happens is in John 5, we'll read let's read just the first 5 to get it going on, get the feel up on this, alright? And it says, after 4, we just did all of that, after all that business. After that, there was a feast of the Jews, and Jesus went up to Jerusalem. Alright, so what happened is once those guys made it where they were supposed to do, there was a big feast of the Jews, alright, that's what happens, and because they've turned, the last story was a positive ending, alright, everything turned out to be more positive, whereas this one here, it's showing, the skin is bad, alright. But, it's a half and half. We got the first part of the story is going to tell something good, and then the back part is kind of not good. It's this idea that, you just, he's talking, well, I don't know who he's talking to in the story. It's almost like it's just an open conversation, But right off the bat, we said that Jesus went up to Jerusalem. Now, everyone likes to think that this is Jerusalem, that he actually is walking now. This is an outside thing, and he's going to Jerusalem, which is the holy city, the one that is below, that is in bondage. He is going into Jerusalem. The Jerusalem that he is talking about is the Jerusalem which is above, the mother of us all. That's where he's going, alright? Because what happens down below is just a replica of what they've done here. They've just created this stuff, alright? That's just, so, it's just not real, alright? It's the Starbucks, it's a McDonald's, it's something, So anyways, and then they market this, everything. It's just, it's just contrived. The entire thing is to really, really want your business bad, And of course, these are so old and so long ago. Believe me, they'll fake anything to get you to do what they want you to do. All right? I just, as a matter of fact, like I was just listening to some of the stories about China and its history, about halfway through their, megalithic, years, it's been around for a long time. Some guy just decided to, start all over again. The past did not fit what he planned for, and it's been centuries since then. So, this idea of recreating or creating, when these people want to do what they want, and they want to have your control, someone else is telling them what to do. We're not the ones writing this stuff, all right? Our boss there's some boss out there that's in charge of our stupidity, all right? And believe me, they want you to be dumb, all right? But somehow or another, they've had to put it in front of us somewhere and hide it and make it a trick, I don't know why. I just don't know why they would have done that way. But this thing that it's almost like there's a rite of passage if you have to go through this. So we get this word troubled water that's going to be in this, and troubled water is this idea that whenever we go into meditations, because there's something wrong, something bothering us, and we're to take this up to God, or take this to heaven, or take this up to God. All right, remember, bring all things to this energy. And generally, it's the idea of being troubled. You certainly don't go up there hoping that you're going to win a lottery. That's not how it works. That's an outside thing. But the number 2 here is, now there is at Jerusalem by the sheep market a pool, which is called in Hebrew the tongue of Bethesda, having 5 porches. I want you to know that this is the right mind. I mean the left mind. Okay, this is this place that's near Jerusalem, in this place where the sheep market is. Remember, you're the sheep. You're the one that's doing the sacrifice. And it's beside a pool. Oh, how convenient, But anyways, in this pool, the angel had come down. And when it's troubled, when the water is troubled, the first person in is healed of all of that is whatever bothered them, And of course, there's one of these guys that's been sitting there, it's like sitting there on the 6th rug. Jesus sitting there looking at him. It's like, what's the matter, dude? And he's lying there. And they use the L-I-E, but that's how they spelt that. But he's considered. I believe this. What he's going to say is that, see, because in number 3 it says, in these lay great multitudes of impotent folk, a blind, halt, withered, waiting on the movement of the water. So what you're getting here, let's go to 5. And a certain man was there, which had an infirmity 38 years. Okay, that adds up to 11. What is 11 is 2. We're talking about, all right. And his infirmity is he can't get anything to work. He can't get past that 6th ladder. That's what that means. And so he asked, so what happens is on the 6th, this is where you would be, on the ladder, all right? When Jesus saw him lie and knew that he had been there now a long time in that case, he said unto him, will thou be made whole? So Jesus asked, because generally it's them coming up to ask. And he says he has no man to help him when the trouble is when the waters are troubled, to lower him into the pool. And as he gets ready to to do it, someone else goes down before him. What this is saying is that he's trying, he's just not getting there, and so Jesus puts out that little hand and he says, was that like to be done this way? And so he tells him to get up, to rise, and take up thy bed and walk. All right. Now this is an interesting thing. All right, because what he does is he says to Jesus, he says to this impotent man. All right. So we'll call him, that's his impotent. He just doesn't got it in him, you know. He says, take up thy bed and walk. That'll be an 8. And immediately he was made whole. This is on the 9th. This is on the 9th consciousness number. He was made whole and took up his bed and walked. And on the same day was the Sabbath. Okay, now there's something's going to happen. Don't let me forget this here. So what happens is these Jews, they see this cured guy, and he says, hey, you know, it's unlawful to carry your bed on the Sabbath. So that's the 3rd time they've said it. And he answered them, and he says, hey, but the guy that made me whole told me to take up my bed and walk. When he asked him, the man, he asked, who was it that he said, take up thy bed and walk? And he didn't know who it was at that first, because there was these thousands of people around, and he just got in the crowd, and then later on, Jesus would meet him and tell him, you know, what does he say? Jesus comes in and says, afterwards Jesus findeth him in the temple, and said to him, behold, that thou art made whole. Sin no more, lest worse thing come unto thee. So sin no more, unless something worse comes into thee, you know. And something can come into you, things change. But that was on the Numbers 5, all right, when he said he found him. And on the 6th, the man departed. He told the Jews that it was Jesus that did it. And on the 7th, this really pissed off the Jews. They said, look at this guy healed somebody on the Sabbath. We're going to have to kill him now, you know. And so he's been asked these questions, you know, is this bad to hurt, I mean, to hurt, to help people on the Sabbath? This has always been what I told these people. I said, you know, he only healed people on the Sabbath. To keep the Sabbath whole is the 7th chakra. This is the only place that gets healed. That's why they say keep the Sabbath day holy. And in the book here, it's the only day that he and his father actually do the work, all right, is on that 6th and 7th day, you know, and they're there with you for the 8th and 9th, but that's really all at one time. Those are just effects that happen during that time of the Sabbath, on the day of the Lord. And so it also was mentioned 5 times about get up, and that's the same as later on, or somewhere else I've done this with you, but it's the take no thought is asked. And it's done in 5 steps. I'm going to find that one, but you'll see it's the same kind of setup. Well, they're bringing you down, you know, all right, a certain directional aid here. And what you've got here, let me see here. For Jesus conveyed himself into the multitudes. Yeah. So what he did is he disappeared into the crowd and he came back out, and then at the same time he pretty much told them who he was so that he could tell the Pharisees, and the Pharisees can get really pissed off at him. So this sets up the next group, and he says, when the Pharisees came to him, they said that, but Jesus answered them. He says, my Father worketh here too, and I work. And the Jews sought to kill him now, because not only did he break the Sabbath law, but he just made himself equal to God. God was his Father. Now we're going to learn what that means, okay? Then answered Jesus, and he said unto them, verily, verily, I say unto you, the Son can do nothing of himself, but what his Father did. For what the things soever he doeth, these also doeth to the Son likewise. For the Father loved the Son, and he showeth him all things that himself doeth. And he will shew him great works, that ye may marvel. And for the Father, as the Father raises up the dead and quickened them, even so the Son quicketh from his will. And the Father judges no man, but hath committed all judgments unto the Son, that all men should honor thy Son, even as they honor thy Father. He that honoreth not the Son honoreth not the Father which has sent him. That's 5. We're going to go away from that for just a minute. What they're talking about is you're the Father, you know. The Son is what we're bringing to life through meditation. And this one here, this Son is the one that's doing this work for us, for the Father. And if you have to honor the mother and father, you got to honor the Son as well. This means to bring him to life, to try to bring him alive. And this is what these stories are talking about, this part of you, all right, as well, you know, because that's what he fixed on the last guy, you know. I'll help you over that, I'll help you into the pool, you know. So what you get over on this side is saying, you know, me and my Father, we work together on this day. This is the Sabbath. It's the only time to do this. And the Sabbath day is not the Sunday. It's not every, you know, let's wait till Sunday to do this. Let's wait till Sunday. No, you do it now. Heaven is at hand right now. So, you know, this idea of waiting on the outside is taking you the wrong direction. If you were to realize that this is something that happens on the inside, which is what they're saying, the last couple of the last 2 chapters is talking about you. It's you. It's what's inside of you. It's that well that's inside of you that you got to drink from, that Jesus brings to you. All right. And he and the Father work together. That's you and me. You know, that's me and in you. That's you and you. You yourself and I. I guess that's how it works. Is that how that comes about? So, verily, verily, I say unto you, he that heareth my word, and believeth on him that sent me, hath everlasting life, and shall not come into condemnation, but is passed from death unto life. This is, you know, that's the gift, all right? Here is the word. That's what we're teaching here. Hopefully there's a whole mess of people right now, at least a dozen or so, that shall not come to condemnation, you know, because you hear the word and you understand it. All right. Verily, verily, I say unto you, the hour is coming, and now is, it says, that those that shall hear thy voice, the dead that hear thy voice, shall rise. All right? And they shall hear, shall live. Those that hear shall live. As for the Father hath life in himself, so that the Father hath life in himself, so hath he given to the Son to have life in himself. That's to have life in himself. I want you to think about that. That's number 8. Number 9, and hath given him authority to execute judgment also, because he is the Son of Man. Judgment. Whenever you want to go into this other side, you're judging yourself. You say, I think it's time for me to go. You know, sometimes I know when it's time for me to go, I could hear it. I could feel it. Something happens. Oh, I said, oh my goodness, you know. So you're allowed to do this now. Let's talk about this idea of witnesses that's going to come in here, you know, because this is all a part of you too. This is number 5, the skin, you know. It's teaching us things. And it says, I on my own, I cannot do anything without Father. Father, he can't do anything on his own. This is This is for you Christians out there that think Jesus is doing everything for you. You got to ask him for this and ask him for this little thing, this energy, this child that you birthed, and you can't do anything until you birth it. All right? Boom. You know, that's the memo. You know, and he gets everything going. All right? Just, you know, instead of sitting there complaining and bitching and arguing with me, go and get this goddamn guy set up inside of you. How simple it is, you know. The work is to, you know, the discipline is to sit still and bring this thing alive. All right? Shut off the mind. Take up thy, you know, here's this guy here. He's walking around with his couch. You know, to tell you the truth, that's the same thing as walking around with your cross, because that's what you lie with, you know. You lie on this. This is it. All right? So you'll see that there's I don't want to go into all this here, sent me. And the Father which himself, which hath sent me, had borne witness of me. Ye have neither heard his voice at any time, nor seen his shape. Talking about the witness. The Father who sent me is the witness. Alright? Not God. Okay? That's you. I sent him. That's how I know it happened. Alright? You don't have to rely on a friend. You don't have to rely on a preacher or anyone. I know. Whenever I went into meditation to go this way, that's the witness, you know. The other witness is this side of you that went up to do this. That's the other witness. But this witness, we can't rely on this one because he can't tell us what he saw, he can't tell us what he heard. So this one can't bear witness on himself. This is Jesus. If he bared witness on himself, it would not be true. Okay? It would be me. I know, because I sent him up there to do this work for me. That's how it works. So the way this is going to work out is that this it's this nice, this higher conscious will speak for itself. This is how you will know. That's the witness, you know. And it's this idea that just nicer things and wonderful things will happen to you. So here is your witness. But basically, if you want to take that idea of the two witnesses, it's you, the real side of you, the outside physical side of you, and the soul. The soul witness this, all right? We just can't hear from it, all right? But those are your two witnesses. He says he does not receive honor from men. That's number 5. Actually, it's scripture number 41. It says he receives not honor from men. Men, when he's talking about that from the left side, no honor from them. All right. This is that idea that you have to have one master. You either, you know, despise one and love the other and stuff like that. You know. But I know that ye have the love. It says, but I know ye that ye have not the love of God in you. All right. It's starting to get the trombone system going down here. I am come in my Father's name. You know, I know who he's talking to now. He's talking to those Pharisees. But I know you that ye have not the love of God in you. I am come in my Father's name. I am come. That is not bad English, alright? They say it like that on purpose. I am come in my Father's name, and ye receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him ye will receive. You know, because he comes in saying that, you know, it's his father, this is my dad. You're going to kill me because of this, you know? Come on. And he says, how can you believe which receives the How can you believe which receive honor of another, and seek not the honor that cometh from God only? There's outside and inside. Why do you want to seek from this one instead of the one of this one? Alright? Do not think that I will accuse you to the Father. There is one that accuses you, even Moses, to whom you trust. Alright? So, had ye believed Moses, ye would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if ye believe not his writings, how shall you believe my words? And it's it. That's done with that. Listen. Moses he wrote of Jesus in a way that, one will come in later. That's how it kind of works. There's always this, because they have to they have to step up the story a little bit. There's always that one that comes after, because, one would introduce us and the other one would connect us. Alright? So, Jesus and Moses, the way, the law, which comes first, and the law is to go inside. He says, stretch out his arm. It has to do with the, all these guys are carrying around a staff. These guys that, hold out your arm. Jesus doesn't carry a staff. He just, it's all in his, his hand. It's all in the hand movement. And he says he stretches forth his arm, or his hand. And both of these guys are talking. He says, you didn't believe what Moses said. All through Moses, these guys, none of them, they never got it. They still got that hardened heart. Their Sabbath is the Saturday. Look how fucked up that place is. I don't have to be a Bible scholar to tell you that they're not doing what Moses told them to do. And right here we have Jesus telling them that hell's bells, guys. You got no God in you. Here I'm telling you, boom, I've come to you in my Father's name, and you have nothing in you. This is a halt. This is a withered right arm. That's what happens to these people that are religious and stuff like that. The withered right arm, they can't push that out there. They have no power. And the power of God is nothing to them because of the traditions that they've been dealing with. This is how they call this, what they do with God. Alright? And this is that idea that they vainly they worship him, but it's not getting to me, And God is not that kind of a charity energy that just says, oh, I know they really mean they like me better, Nope. He's a jealous God. Some ways, but they talk about that. Jealous means that I'm the only one. It's, they're all jealous like that. But, he has to show you this, because when it comes down to understanding the Bible, there's, this idea of reading from the top, taking everything as real and literal, takes you to, darkness, Tells you go in there and look for the spirit and the light of things, There's a part in this that says you are the light of the Lord here, But this sheep market and stuff like that, this is not have anything to do with what's going down below. This is this symbolic story, how you get inside yourself. This is pretty simple as that, and that's what he's looking for. Those people that look for him inside, And it's not so hidden, here I am parading around, as an apostle. I'm not going to say parading around, I'm going to just say I'm walking around like an apostle. And apostles are teachers, and they teach the way. And, of course, whenever they went the way, I wondered, if they started talking all these parables to people that they met in the street. I wonder how they push this Bible, because, I say, I don't know if someone dies for me, really. I didn't ask him to do that. That wasn't the will of this Father, Now I owe him, and I don't even know him, and all that stuff. How did they push that garbage, So you'll see that these guys didn't go out preaching, the gospel. These people, this gospel, this stuff was handed to you, with a sword to your throat, and it didn't come with instructions. It came with directions, Bam! You do it like this, and that's it, So, it really becomes, like, Stockholm Syndrome. This is like in biblical proportions, So we all, if you're going to live on earth, but you gotta, play the part, to realize that the whole goddamn thing's made up. What an interesting place it comes to then. It does become some kind of magical place, But you can see how dreams can come alive, And so I love that. I have a whole new mind now, and that's my whole new heaven and earth. Whereas before, to get the troubled waters going on, they're not as troubled now. Not as troubled at all. But we still have pitfalls and still have problems that we have to work through, So we're not always going to be disconnected. We built our world on stone. We dug down deep. We found hard ground. Now whatever happens, we'll make it through it. That's how it's supposed to work. Build your house on stone, and you'll be just fine. Good morning. It's off to work. I'm decorating for Christmas. It's kind of fun. See you later.